Hey, how's it going? 37, if that is your real name. Just firing up the old Automobilista 2 tonight. Just go ahead and wait for a few more people to pop in here, and then we'll start doing some stuff. So seeing how you guys are the early ones here, I will go ahead and leave the choice up to you guys as to what you would like to see. I want to keep this with the Racin USA DLC. We'll be racing offline against the AI. So that means in terms of tracks, you have the Daytona road course, Long Beach, and Laguna Seca. And then you have Cadillac DPi, as well as the Corvette, Porsche, and BMW GTE, GTLM cars. So you guys can pick car and track. First one to comment wins. We'll probably do like a 15-minute, 15-lap race, something like that. Daytona DPi multi-class. Alrighty. We will do the DPi at Long Beach, which is good because I haven't driven the DPi at Long Beach yet. I drove it at the other two tracks and was very, very pleased. We'll do a 15-minute race. We'll start at 5 p.m. in the afternoon, and then we will go ahead and toss in some clouds, just to mix it up. You know, it is Southern California, it doesn't rain there from what I hear. Go with light rubber. We'll do GT3 cars for a multi-class, just because apparently there's only 31 slots available, which isn't a lot. And the GT3 cars should be a little bit slower, so that way we don't have the GTLMs in there as well. So all set. Just check my settings. Can never remember which one it is. No. And we're just gonna skip through qualifying. We'll just get on with racing and having a blast there. There's my AI settings. 109 difficulty, 29 aggression, just in the few races that I did previously, and just testing things. That seemed to be what was working out best. So let's go ahead and get the show on the road here. Hey, how's it going, Ethan? Yeah, everything's going relatively well. Relatively well. Let's go ahead and pull everything up here. I just realized I was in the menus without the stream actually streaming. We're on the loading screen. There we go. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Gets a little goofy because I have to click into the window after the thing, yeah. But we're just going to go ahead and default the setup here. Reset everything because I've kind of been screwing around doing some testing and tuning and silly stuff when I was playing around at Daytona earlier. So make sure we put enough fuel in it. We're doing a 15-lap race, so we'll take some extra. 15 cars in DPi class, and then 17 in GT3. Alrighty, rolling start. Let's get the show on the road here. Should be fun because I haven't driven this car at this track. Crazy, man. Although in the race that I did with the GTE cars, which is why I drove around Long Beach when I tested it out, there's a big old pile up at the fountain, so got by relatively unscathed. and then we just throw it in the wall. And then I throw it in the wall again. Nice. Pretty sure I have damage turned off just because the AI is absolutely crazy. And here's where I come to regret not changing the steering lock in the garage. Been a smart move. Alright, that's first lap down. Now we're actually into the race. You know, one thing I do want to point out, it's been a while since I fired up Automobilista 2, is, you know, I've just kind of been out of sim racing for a while. One of the things I was really impressed with the changelog that they released alongside the Racing DLC, Racing USA DLC, the 1.2 update, the shadows are so much better. Like, the Madness engine has always had a tremendous issue with shadows, and like they'd just stop rendering at a certain distance, and then they'd have terrible anti-aliasing, and they'd just look like an absolute god-awful mess. It definitely looked much better this time around. Yeah. I will say I do really like this car. It very much reminds me of the iRacing LMP2, which is the non-DPi version of this car, so basically just a different engine in the same chassis. Different aerodynamics, but the big difference I would say between the two is the fact that the traction control in this thing is absolutely flippin' useless. Which, to me, it actually kind of seems like it's a bug. As you'll see if we go in here to the car management options. We turn traction control up. See, we'll run 9, turn it to 10, and of course it doesn't do it because I'm on the screen. But what would end up happening is it just pull out power even when you're just going down the straightaway. Just like way overkill. But because of that, the hairpin gets really sketchy as you're jostling around and you have basically nothing there to kind of save you. You know, it's the same type of experience. The iRacing car, earlier on this year, they nerfed it like 3 times in a row because of the fact that it just had too much power. So it's basically performing like a DPi. And that was back with the iRacing Rolex 24, iRacing 24 hours. You know, so back in January. So obviously did a crap ton of laps there. And then doing a crap ton of laps in this car, you know, which is actually supposed to be a DPi. It's like, oh hey, this is basically exactly what I was doing in January. I mean, it was really shocking just how similar they were. Should have a good slipstream here. Let's go to make a pass here, boys. God, the AI is just so frisky. Long Beach is such a hoot. It is so well done. Not really a surprise. You know, it's just so fantastic with the graphics and everything. The way this thing drives, it is a hoot. Sun's going down here. Hopefully it'll start to get dark and the lights will come on. This really makes me hyped for whatever is in that Racin USA 2 DLC. I have no idea, being entirely honest. Okay, why are you sending it there, guy? But I definitely am expecting that there's something IndyCar Champ Car related in that DLC. If not, they just totally shot themselves in the foot. Come on! Why? Why do you do that? AI still needs some work. It's definitely a very fun car to drive, though. No! Why? Why would you do that? Oh, man. The joys of racing with AI. Sometimes they just do stupid stuff. I mean, in terms of the difficulty, then that's when they start getting really bad about having just unlimited cheater grip. And it's like, okay, there's no freaking way you were going to make that corner from there if you had reasonable physics, but to get you to be competitive, gotta give you the magic grip hacks. It's getting all choppy here. I can't handle the graphical fidelity. Poor little graphics card right now is screaming out beyond like, this isn't iRacing, I can't do this anymore. Poor little 1070. I think I might need to turn the graphics down a little bit. was able to do Daytona and Laguna Seca in the night in the fog just fine, and apparently Long Beach is, you know, a monster. Just have to be so gentle coming out of the hairpin. But I think it's a combination of traction control as well as the setup. Oh no. Just about slid off into the no man's land there. Fun to drive around Long Beach though. It's such a great track. I love it. Oh, looks like we're getting in traffic, so now things are gonna get extra spicy. About dive bombed him there, in fairness. Supposed to keep it inside the blue line there. Come on there, buddy. See ya! Okay, are we going, or are we just gonna stop on corner exit? Okay, that's the thing that GT3 cars do. Apparently it is a thing GT3 cars do. The frames! Oh god, the frames! The frames are so bad! I don't know, it might be just fine on stream for you guys. Might not look any different, but we're running in the chop here. Please go. Please go. It's like the AI just doesn't accelerate coming off the corner. It's not even a case of like, oh, they're driving a GT3 car, they're not as fast. No, it's just like they just don't hit the gas. It's that thing where when you get too close to AI, they tend to spaz out a bit. Just realized you're not streaming at 60 FPS. Yeah, I can't stream at 60 FPS. I just don't have the bandwidth to support it. Like, I can only upload at like 2 or 3 megabytes a second, which is horrendous, but that's what you get with Iowa internet. Guy, you all right there? You all right? I'm just gonna say my highly biased opinion. This DLC for Long Beach and this car might just be worth it just for that. Just don't try and run everything maxed out on 1070. You're gonna have a bad time. Whoa! Hey, we just about got reamed. Prepare thy butthole. Okay. Apparently, that GT3 car all of a sudden found prototype speed through the corner. I mean, it really does look fantastic. And it does make for one hell of an experience. You know, driving this car, flinging around the corners, in between the walls and everything, you know. Because it is a pretty demanding car to drive. You know, doing that at night, you got the lights and everything. You know, people say that graphics don't matter, like, at all. It's like, yeah, no, you kind of need them for this experience as well. And I'll just say, this drives really damn good. Just give them a little squeeze out there. I mean, this car is at least as good as the LMP2 car in iRacing. And that's a car that over there I'd say is definitely one of the better ones. So I'm not sure why the forums have seemingly endless complaining and just like negativity. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense though. All right, we're gonna go ahead and back out here, and that's the end of that race. Best lap 113, 13 flat. Alrighty, so race number 2 on the night. Again, Daytona, Long Beach, Laguna Seca, or and then for cars, the C8R GTE car, 911 RSR GTE car, the BMW something or the M8, the big boy, as well as. I think there's one other car. Oh, the BMW M4 GT4, but I don't think that's actually part of this DLC. So let's go ahead and... Can't remember if that's gonna... But yeah, I do have all the settings basically maxed out, just FYI, and on a 1070. So, kind of asking for it, to be entirely honest. We'll just turn the pit crew off, because I don't think we'll need that. Medium reflections, I think that should be good. Please restart the game. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and did I change super sampling? Yeah. Just gonna turn the anti-aliasing down a little bit. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and exit out, and then I will go ahead and relaunch the game here, so just one moment. Reckons that the car is not well connected to the road. I would say basically that's a problem with every car in sim racing. Like, you know, there's very few times where you actually get that feeling. So I'm not, I don't know. I'm not a pro race car driver, so what do I know? Like, it's just the way I see it is that's just par for the course. Like, you're always gonna have that thing going on. If it's good in VR, I might have to get AMS2 when it goes on sale next. Yeah, if you have Project Cars 2, this is running on the same engine, just modified and tweaked, and honestly made better. But if you're familiar with that, it basically runs and performs basically 100% the same way. You know, it's, if you're familiar with that in VR, there's your benchmark. Let's see here. I don't know. I just look at it and, you know, as I'm gonna go with the big boy because that's the car I haven't driven, and we'll do it at Daytona. You know, I jumped on the Reza forums just to see if there's anything in here because, full disclosure, I'm running the beta version of the game, but it should be more or less exactly the same at this stage currently. And it's just kind of one of these things where the forums over there are just filled with such negativity and complaining. Like, there's some guy complaining that the McLaren GT3 car will get wheel spin when you launch it in reverse but not forward, and it's like, what? When did this become what sim racing is? Like, come on. Like, the best, well, maybe not the best, okay, the most popular racing sim out there, like, has physics that are honestly among the worst in the category. You know? Little perspective. Little perspective. We have moved past the days where the it used to be a case where you had no low speed grip, cars would just spin instantly, you know, in 30-mile-an-hour corners. Good old F1 challenge, GTR1, absolutely notorious. You know, in GTR2, the whole steer into a slide and the car magically straightens out thing that just doesn't make any sense. You gotta tone your expectations. Then you just see so much silly stuff, like, you know, not to pile on or anything, but I was reading the iRacing forums today, just looking for some information on something, and some guy was complaining about Automobiles 2 and how the physics are so easy, and it's like, you're an 1100 iRating driver. You know nothing about driving fast, clearly. All right? You say it's easy. No, it's probably just because you can actually make it around the track without spinning out. And that's a different story entirely. But that's the sim racing community as a whole. It's just... shake my head, man. Shake my head. Like, we have it so good. And it's like, yeah, there's things you can complain about, and don't get me wrong, criticism is good as long as it's constructive, but there's times where it just gets carried away. And I need to turn my force feedback down for this car, apparently. I just feel the wheel being nothing but... Sorry. Sorry. Hopefully I didn't just cough into the microphone. I tried to mute it in time. Now, one thing I will say with Automobilista 2 here, and doing some testing here, you know, I don't know what you're supposed to do with the tires in this conditions. This is a default time of day, which defaults to, I think it's actually early February, but an appropriate time for, you know, the Rolex 24, so it's cold that night. Those tires, you ain't gonna get them up to temp. Good luck. You're just gonna have to deal with it. Which I suppose isn't necessarily unrealistic, but yeah, that was one of the things I mentioned on the forums. That there's guys kind of talking about maybe tires are just too effective, and in certain conditions, you know, the soft tire doesn't wear out fast enough. But did pedal cam die again? Pedal cam die. Yeah, but then people, you know, people on the, going back to the Racin forums, like complaining about people on YouTube and like how they don't like the game, and it's like some giant conspiracy perpetrated just to pick on Racin Studios, and it's just like, this is just asinine. So ridiculous. Kind of like my breaking point there. That was just not gonna work. It's like, let's play the game and have fun, guys. And I know you're not playing the game because we can see the Steam numbers, alright? No one's playing the game, alright? That's the problem. Alright, apparently pedal cam died. Let me try and at least pull up the inputs here. I'm sorry, I don't know what's happening. I was playing earlier today, and I just had OBS up just to see how that was all working out, because I know that my pedal cam keeps dying randomly, and it was fine for about 2 hours. And now I get on stream and it's dead within 45 minutes. It's like, great. It's great, guys. Just love when this happens. Unfortunately, it's on the other screen, so if I go ahead and try and pull that off, I will go ahead and cause all sorts of chaos, because my game window will minimize. So I'm sorry, I'll get it off screen. I know, it's silly. Honestly, I'm more concerned by the fact that the AI is still having the issues that the AI has had for a while. In terms of, it seems like they still clump. As well as they are unpredictable. Like, I'm running 26 aggression, and that's still like what we saw at Long Beach. Still just every now and then just go full on. Just gonna send it, you know, just no holds barred, reckless abandon. As well as the fact that apparently there's a Mercedes GT3 that is just absolutely flying out here today. It's like all over the back of me. Granted, this guy in the Corvette in front of us just needs to go a little faster. My work week has been hell, but I'm here to spread positivity. Keep on keeping on, my dudes. Racing is life. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Alright, let's try and outbrake this guy, but I don't have the most confidence because I know how this works out. They just, like, cheese grip you. Yeah, like that's... They're just so aggressive. Like, you turn up the difficulty, it just, they gonna get you. Seth, loving the streams, Mr. Box. Enjoying doing the streams. You know, this is a different format than I've done for years, so it kind of spices things up here. Okay, who are we? That GT3! Like, come on! He's so fast! It's just like I jumped into an iRacing race and I'm driving a Corvette here and I'm messing with all the GT3 cars because I'm slow. PTSD, man. Swear to goodness if he tries to outbrake me. There we go. But honestly, I like the way this car feels, you know, for what it is. You know, the only thing I would say is it's clear that the setups need improvement, and I think that the setups are a large portion of why people perhaps don't necessarily jive with this game out of the box. As well as, I think the traction control is also a factor. I mean, if you're coming from iRacing or ACC, you know, the traction control works pretty well, you know when it kicks in. Whereas here in this game, you don't have that same feedback to the same degree. And it also seems like it just doesn't kick in until it's so late. I mean, really in a car like this, traction control is part of it. I do notice it's spinning up that inside rear corner coming off that corner there. I really do wish Racin Studios would spend a little bit more time on the default setups. Because I feel like that's one of those things where so many people don't change anything. And I mean, you know, heck, even in this stream, I haven't changed, you know, anything. I'm just running the default setup. And I think for the vast majority of sim racers, that's what they're going to do because that's the type of environment that they're playing in. Like, if I'm doing a leaderboard or I'm doing a competitive race, you know, I'm racing in iRacing, like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and spend some time working on the setup when I can, you know? And something like this, you know, it's just kind of... kind of one of those things where most people aren't going to do that in the environment that they are racing in, and that just kind of needs to be understood. Traction control and ABS should have their own plus and minus keys. Yes, amen to that. That is one thing that I definitely notice. I mean, trying to go through this menu thing, it just, like, it works. I wouldn't say it's the biggest priority that exists with this game currently, but you'd think that'd be something that'd be relatively simple to fix, so it's kind of surprising that it hasn't happened yet. Trying to go back and read through chat here. I tried the ABS TC. ABS, there is no ABS. It's a GTE car. The TC is pretty obvious in that car. Honestly, with the Corvette, I didn't notice the traction control kicking in like at all. And I also found the RPM limiter to just sneak up on you every single time. Like I was having to really pay attention to the lights on the dashboard, which isn't helped by the fact that that car has surprisingly dim LEDs on the dash, to actually be able to make sure I'm not banging off the limiter. Just worried for what happens when the prototypes come through. They need to do 3 to 4 default setups per car like ACC. I 100% agree with that, and that is one thing that I definitely will commend Kunos for doing and taking the time to do. And granted, yeah, sure, it's a little bit easier in that environment where they're just focusing on, you know, one classic car essentially. But having decent default setups, like, you know, I did the review video I did earlier this year and mentioning like half of the cars are running 0 rear toe, so everything's just kind of skating around when there's really no reason for it not to be. Definitely wants to spin up that inside rear. Needs more power side locking. Trust Risa though. I mean, yeah, I know what you're saying. I know you're not saying that I don't trust them, but you know, it is along that same lines of, you know, look at other racing sims that have had just as many problems and they don't get written off, but because this one exists and it's on the same engine as Project Cars 2, Project Cars, it's never going to get that same beneficial look. You know, it's silly. So if you're watching this stream and you don't have it already, Automobiles 2 gets my seal of approval, especially if you're looking for an offline racing sim, kind of a sampler platter. Because that's really where this title absolutely thrives. GTE cars, I can never tell with the BMW, the M8 and the M6, and now the M4 or M3 GT3 that's coming out. I can't tell from behind because they all look exactly the same, and they're all the size of a house. wouldn't say the DPi is awful on baseline. You just kind of have to understand that it's unnecessarily tail happy. Oh my goodness, what was that? There's fog on the track. I don't remember what I set the weather to, but that was neat. Hopefully that comes through in stream, but it's just some nice, gentle, low-level fog. Things you don't get in other racing sims. Like, just watching the way your car's driving is massively different than how the car is to drive for me. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Cade. You know, honestly, I think we kind of gonna YOLO it. This is not gonna end well. Go ahead and put your F in chat right now. Yeah, see, told you. But going back to the DPi, and I know we were talking about it on Twitter just the other night, or you probably saw my tweet, but the IR18, or not the IR18, the IndyCar, the Pro Mazda, the PM18, like, it drives very similar to that, only the fact that the DPi has like 800 more horsepower. And for some reason, I just decided to right foot brake. Why did I do that? Because weren't you the one saying that you liked the way that the PM18 drove? If I'm remembering correctly. I can't remember. Are we going into daytime or are we going into nighttime? I think we're going into daytime. Probably sounds absolutely silly. It's like, hey guy, you were just in the darkness 10 minutes ago. Yeah, but the DPi shouldn't drive like a Formula car on Coopers. Yeah, I mean, it might be a fair point. But, I mean, honestly, I put that more down to the racing car in general. I did that race the other night with the thing. It was just like, this car is just death. Just constantly trying to kill me. So sketchy in any medium high-speed corner. That rear end just snap on you in an instant. Wish my radar worked. I do like the little painted on little meter thing. Although I would really like to see one of these radar systems actually working in a racing sim. We need a new radar model. Like, on the topic of default setups, I mean, very clearly this one just has a, might as well have an open diff, it seems like, on corner exit. Just, you probably should not have that with your open setup. Or alternatively, we're absolutely smoking the tires on power down, which means the traction control is doing absolutely nothing, which isn't the case, judging on the way traction control isn't kicking in. find it interesting how the fog, like, the first lane down here is covered in fog, but the middle lane and higher up isn't. Guess I've never really analyzed fog, but that's pretty nifty. I will say I'm pretty surprised the AI has murdered us with prototypes. Famous last words, right? Just gonna go ahead and yoink. Oh, them apples! Oh god. Oh god, what's the prototype doing? What's the prototype doing? Okay, well, we're going slow now. You know, one random tidbit I do want to go ahead and mention, just relating to real-world racing. I just love these LCD screens that they are now putting on the dashboards of all the GT cars, because it makes my life as a sim racer so much better, because then I don't need to turn on virtual mirror, and I can just see the mirror right there. It's great. So I really appreciate you, BMW, for taking that extra step in designing the car around the needs of the sim racer. Like, I really appreciate that. At least that's what I'm going to go with. How many laps we got left here? 2 laps to go? Really is a case, though. I just wish this game would have a little bit more refinement with the AI, and then they would go to work on just kind of polishing up the experience for a newer user, as well as working on the setups. On a cooldown lap? Yes. You know, this happens every single time. Like, every time. I suppose I should look at the dashboard that says lap 15, but obviously it's because we're a lap down. But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it into replay here, and turn off pedal cam. Hopefully this hasn't blown up everything. Might have blown up everything. Alright, you guys don't need to see that. Not here for the trackside cams. By the way, what are your thoughts on physics? I mean, we kind of talked about this a good bit today, but no, I think Automobilista 2 is better than people give it credit for, but at the same time, people give other racing sims a pass that this game doesn't get. And that's not me complaining, that's just the simple reality of, you know, you just look at some of the stuff out there, and it's like good luck wheeling a car in iRacing. Like, even still, now that you can actually save it, you know, it's still a dicey affair. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into a race at Laguna Seca. I'm gonna try and set up a race here with just the GTE cars. Probably just gonna click same class. I have no idea. We're gonna be racing in the rain. See how that pans out. We'll go ahead and drive the Corvette. Actually, you know what? Let's do the Corvette. Yeah. I guess the RSR would be kind of cheating if we're gonna do it in the rain. But no, I think really in terms of physics, that's not the problem with this game. I would just say the problems with this game are the AI behavior, just needs improvement, and it's not the worst out there. It's not the best. It's just kind of there, but it needs to be better so that way it stands by itself. Go ahead and pack on some downforce. Soften up the rear. I would just see how this all goes. I'm just making clicks here, making adjustments. Hopefully they're the right adjustments. Let's go ahead and make sure we select the wet. I never like relying on the automatic by weather. I don't know about you guys, but I just don't trust that thing. Alright, that's maximum downforce. Let's go ahead and spring rate. I'm gonna run a spring rate of 1. Not sure what a spring rate of 1 is, but if that's what you're telling me, that's what we're doing. Alrighty, let's go ahead and this is another thing. My game just like flipped out here. Alright, yep. Okay, I don't know if anyone else has this issue with this game. I'm gonna have to back out and we'll restart. Every now and then, and it's only in Automobilista 2, it never had to happen in Project Cars 2, never any other racing sim, but my steering wheel will get locked like full on all the way to the right. Just like max steering lock, and there's nothing that can be done about it. Like the steering wheel still reads. That's why I could still kind of sort of drive a little bit there. But you obviously can't drive that way with it cranked over all the way to the right. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen enough that I'm kind of like, oh, this again. It's an old bug, empty box carried over from Project Cars 2. Interesting. I never had that happen with Project Cars 2, and I've had the same steering wheel, and I mean, I didn't play the most Project Cars 2, but I played enough that I would have run into that bug several times over if I run into it nearly as much as I do in this game. I now use a powered USB port. Yeah, I use a... Basically, the way I have everything kind of set up is everything that's at my rig, which is steering wheel, joystick, throttle, a keyboard, pedals, is all plugged into a powered USB hub. And... Alright, we're all good. Because I have a CH Pro throttle, and they absolutely hate when don't turn your steering wheel on. I didn't turn my steering wheel on. Oh, guys, the wheels are coming off here. The wheels are coming off. I'm gonna have to exit out to get the game to see my steering wheel. Yes. I turned my steering wheel off because I think you have to do that to get the bug out. And then I turn it back on. Alrighty. Alright, just power cycling it again. Have you tried IRFFB on iRacing? No, I have not. That's one of those add-ons that I always want to try because there is a big difference, and I don't give two hoots what David Tucker tries to say in the forum threads about how the update rate doesn't matter. Like, you can change it in the menus in Automobilista 1 and you can notice the effect. And you could do, if you really want to, you can do a blind study for yourself. And if you know what you're feeling, depending on the person, yeah, you will notice it. And it's one of those things where I feel like he's just the guy that he's in control of it, and it doesn't make a difference to him, and he can do the math and all this stuff and try and justify it, but like, yeah, there's a difference. There's a reason why nobody is still sending 60 hertz signals to the wheel. Like, everybody's moved on except for iRacing. But yeah, no, I've never tried it out. It's just one of those things where I really don't like add-ons that I have to remember to turn on and all that stuff. Like, honestly, I don't even like the fact that I have to run trading paints. Not that I have a problem with trading paints, but just... Okay, what are we doing here? Just the fact that it's an extra app. It's the same reason people always ask me, why don't I use Crew Chief? You know, I have no problem with Crew Chief. I recorded a spotter pack, and, you know, that's on me there. Yeah, I recorded a spotter pack for it. I don't use it, though, myself, just because it's something that I don't want to have to remember to start up and go through all that. It's slippery out here. Let's go in here. Traction control. Do we do it, guys? Do we do it? Of course we do it. Turn that puppy to 0. Maximum shenaniganry. Try and get the... The other thing I'll say about the Corvette, it's so quiet. And plus, it doesn't make the good Corvette noises. Like, it just sounds so boring anymore. And you thought my driving was bad. That guy just drove his Porsche right in the wall for no reason. Apparently there's no track there. Yeah, but at some point I really should go ahead and give IRFFB a go. Nothing else might make for an interesting video. Because doesn't IRFFB also have like mixing settings where you can add in different effects and everything that... Try some multiplayer at AMS2 tonight. I'm running the beta version of the game rather than the regular version, and that's the way I pretty much always run this game because there's really no reason not to be entirely honest. There's just not enough players online for me to justify keeping 2 installs. say this is surprisingly easy to drive. Like, really easy to drive. Maybe it's just a very warped perspective because usually when I'm racing these conditions in this game, I'm doing it in a Formula V10, which is just absolutely absurd, as opposed to a GTE car that's got 30 years newer tires, as well as 250 fewer horsepower and more weight to it. As well as the fact that I think we have the AI set too low, which is, again, on the topic of AI performance and all that stuff. The calibration between wet and dry. It's always going to be tricky, but these guys are driving super slow. But I know for a fact if I would have left it on 109, they'd just rocket away into the distance. Honestly, I don't think it's a matter of grip. I think the big thing... I'm trying to remember which video I talked about it in. I think it was the one with the Formula V10 not at Monaco, if I'm remembering correctly. Or one of the problems that you always have in racing sims when it rains is how wet really is the track. Because you're just relying on, the art direction, and it doesn't necessarily mean what you think it means because it doesn't work in the way that the real world works because it's graphics as opposed to the real world. Sorry, my bad. It's like you look at this track and it's like, oh hey, this is pretty sketchy. There's little puddles everywhere. This is super mega dangerous. It's like, okay, this isn't even the heaviest rain conditions, so how wet really is it? But I would say painted surfaces definitely have too much grip. I mean, in the real world, when it's wet, you don't want to be on paint. Anyone who's ever walked over a handicap spot in a parking lot, you know that as well, all right? This is definitely nowhere near as fun as the Formula cars in the rain. Partly because it's nowhere near as crazy. I know my driving ain't the best, but this is a... a chill stream here. Beautiful painting the race car is some of the scariest stuff I've ever done. Yeah, it's you don't touch painted stuff when it's wet. But basically every racing sim that's ever had rain other than honestly probably ACC, it just doesn't have the desired effect on target of, and we're wrecking. See, now it's starting to get a little skatier. And I think, again, that's partly just because the track is actually now, quote-unquote, wetter. Apparently I'm going faster, but I think that's just because I'm not driving as way stop. Oops. Haha, you made your car mid-engine so you don't have cheater grip anymore. Eh. Let's not do first gear. That would not be good. Trying to power slide on him, trying to style on him. Punching people left and right. Yeah, pretty much, pretty much. In fairness, they're just driving too dang slow. Mental note, brake earlier. Like I was setting new best laps for myself, even though the track has gotten noticeably worse, just because I'm driving less crazy. Just goes to show you that sometimes you're driving like a crazy madman. What feels fast actually is slow. Or you could just be like me and just be slow no matter what, and then you don't have that problem. Sim simulate the whole outside. The rubber line is faster in the wet. I believe ACC is supposed to, but I've never really noticed that it's been like a major, like, defining thing. ACC doesn't? So I'm pretty sure Automobilista 2 doesn't. I know R Factor 2 doesn't. I'm pretty sure ACC is supposed to. Yeah, I feel like the funny thing with racing in the rain is I feel like it should be more difficult. But then I also look at it and it's like, you know, I've been sim racing for a very long time, and back when I started sim racing, we had no grip. Going back to the start of this stream, talking about GTR1 and how, you know, you get under a 30-mile-an-hour corner and it's legitimately the most frightening corner on the whole course. Just because the car would have literally no grip at all. So it's just like, oh, this is just like back in the old days, you know? Track's definitely going away. wouldn't it? I'm surprised I haven't burned the tires off. Because I feel like I'm doing a lot of sliding around. The tire wear doesn't look all that bad. Ah! Oh no. What's your favorite GTE car? If we're talking right now, it's absolutely 100% got to be the Porsche. Like, no questions asked. You know, now that Corvette's gone mid-engine and they no longer make good V8 noises, they just make generic V8 noises. It's just like, hey, you know, I just don't care, you know? Can't make a flat 6 sound poor, and a 911 is always going to look like a 911, and a 911 race car is always going to look like a race car 911, which is fantastic. I mean, the RSR, I mean, she's got a booty on her, all right? That booty don't quit. Let's be real. Can't argue with that. I mean, I feel like we just took that entire corner, just sideways the whole corner. Just oh, hey, we're doing this. You have to brake way early for that corner. I'll also say, if we're just talking in the game, you know, now that I've driven all three, granted I don't have the most experience with them, but again, the BMW, the M8, you know, it does what it does. You know, it's a big front engine rear wheel drive car. It's always going to be the one that's stable and most straightforward. But it's just not exciting or interesting in any regard to me, and I'm not a fan of modern BMW, so it doesn't have the appeal. The Corvette, you know, it's perfectly ho-hum acceptable, but the RSR is just so much fun to drive, as well as the fact that it's honestly fantastic sound. And that's something I usually don't say about Racin Studios and their work, because they've never had particularly great sound. Although I will say these new cars from the Racin USA DLC do sound better than some of the cars in the past, but let's have some slippy slidey. Okay, that didn't work as well as I was hoping. just go up as a VOD. The way I have it set up, at least the way I think it works here on YouTube, is once the stream's all done, it should go up and you should be able to watch the whole thing. Although in saying that, the stream I did Monday night like doesn't show up in the dashboard on the back end side of things, but it looks like it shows up on the channel page, so I'm not 100% sure how that works, but it should be available for everything. Tires chattering all over. Yeah, modern BMW makes me sad because I mean, my first car, just by sheer happenstance, I've never been a BMW guy, was an E30, and that was back when, you know, those things were worth absolutely nothing, and they're practically giving them away. But that car was just so nice, and there was things on it that it's like, okay, you know, someone actually thought this through, you know, both as an engineering portion as well as a practical portion, and then you just look at where they've gone with, like, basically trying to make a house of a car. As well as, you know, you go back a few years when they came up with, oh, we'll make the even number cars the two-door cars, and then the odd numbers will be the four-door cars. And then within like 6 months, they came out with a four-door 4 Series, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, what is this? Stop. Best modern BMW is M2 Comp CS. Yeah, that, honestly, the 2 Series is the only BMW that's got any appeal left in it for me. I mean, even the M4, it's just like, you know, you've just gotten so carried away. I mean, I'm positive it's an absolutely fantastic car, but it's just, just like there's a reason why the 1M basically never depreciated, because like, I'm pretty sure they go for the same price now that they did when they were new, and I don't remember them ever getting cheaper. Like, literally all you have to do, just straight 6 manual transmission, you will have a small group of people that will worship at your altar forever for very valid reasons. That's literally all you got to do. And apparently we're on the cooldown lap, so run out of room because I'm terrible at driving. I suck at driving. I'm so terrible. It's funny because it's true. Yeah, I think, I mean, if you're lucky enough to have a 1M, you just hang on to that puppy, and that car is going to be worth something in several years. And I mean, like, actually something, because I think there will be a demand for that once the manual transmission well and truly dies off. Be a sad day. Let's not talk about that. So, well, we've done some rain. done some rain, we've done some dry. Let's go ahead and... I don't want to get into random weather and all that stuff. That's... yeah, sure, let's put some sun in there. Let's put some medium cloud. Let's just... apparently only allowed 4. We're going to do... the 30 minutes of Daytona. Actually, what time is it? Let me check what clock. Check time. 7:27. Alrighty. Yeah, we'll do 30 minutes of Daytona, and we will go ahead and crank up that weather progression, time progression to 50 times. Start 8 in the morning, ish. We'll set the track to default progressing. We'll turn on some time acceleration. We're going to go do a race at Daytona. We're going to do the 24 hours of Daytona in 30 minutes. Sound good to you guys? Sounds good to me. And we'll do it just GTE cars. Just because that's really all that's going to matter anyways. Naturally, I'm going to... just for giggles, I want to see what happens here. I'm going to turn the aggression down and see if that makes them chill. Just reading through chat here. You know, the car values are just absolutely nuts. And it's so difficult to actually get a read on it because, like, honestly, I find... I think a lot of us here are probably the same type of people where we're into cars and, like, we kind of understand why people would want certain cars. Like, the idea of people paying, you know, $100,000 for a Mark IV Supra is not foreign to us because, like, we understand why, like, these people are going to want it. But at the same time, it's just like, where's it going to end? It's going to end eventually somewhere, and or maybe it doesn't. So go ahead and I just remembered. There we go. Some mad lad built an E46 M3 Touring. You say mad lad, I say awesome lad. Like, come on, man. World needs more wagons. Okay. That's one thing I don't like about Automobilista too. Like, just a weird thing, like pulling up the inputs on screen. Like, every single time it's just like, which telemetry page is it again? Where is it? And you know, the real handy thing about having a joystick handy, you got so many extra buttons. Are touring BMWs even a thing in the US? Like, no. See, here in America, every single other car has to be a crossover or SUV because those are the only cars that are quote-unquote practical and they quote-unquote look cool, because nobody wants a wagon, even though wagons look 10 times better than these stupid little ugly crossover things that replaced the wagon. Like, please riddle me how wagons are uncool because they're station wagons, but yet people gladly drive these crossovers that look like a freaking egg. The noise, though. This is. Crossovers are taking over the world. Yeah, I think. I mean, honestly, it's inevitable. Like, I do kind of understand it. Don't get me wrong. You know, you get the extra ride height, which just makes it more comfortable to get in and out. You know. Potentially easier loading because you have, well, I guess that wouldn't necessarily apply with the wagon, but, and plus, with the way these car companies work at building everything globally, you know, it makes sense that it's going to go one way, and it sucks. Kind of reminds me that there used to be this woman that I worked with. She had a Volvo wagon with a ski rack on top of it. I'm like, yes, I see what you did there. I like you. Everyone else is like, it's a Volvo wagon. Like, why? It's stupid. It's a grandma's car. Like, no, you don't understand. Need to bring back brick cars. I mean, Volvo wagons are the best wagons. I mean, they simultaneously, just go ahead and send me through the grass here. They simultaneously look boxy as can be, and they look like a brick, but at the same time, they don't. Like, they somehow make it work. Like, what is it? The Volvo 240 is literally a large box with a smaller box in front of it. And yet somehow, it's just iconic. Like, anyone else did that, it'd be like, you put $0 into your design of your car. This is embarrassing. Volvo does it, you know. Crafty Swedes are at it again, you know? So I think one thing that we've definitely learned here on this stream, turn down the aggression. Even though you already have the aggression turned down. Let's turn it down further than you think you need to. You know, win this race or we're going to lose the shop. You're going to need to find a better driver than if you want to keep the shop. Go. I will say the Porsche is definitely much more lively than the Corvette. The Corvette just feels more composed just in general, whereas this thing definitely feels pointier, a little bit sharper. You think Volvo and Saab employees have gang wars? Now there's a mental image for you. Wide. It's not going to go well. It's not going to go well. Maybe it will. Maybe it will. It will. Probably shouldn't say that until I'm actually by, but look at that. Yes. Hot knife through butter. I gotta say, I really do like this car. I really do like this car. Clear. Clear. This car sounds fantastic, and it is a blast to drive. Alright, when are we putting Matt into a Formula V or SRF IRL? I'm pretty sure I would not fit in either one of those. I am cursed with the aspect of being a large man, both as well as in height and waistline. And then there's also the fact that I have large feet. I wear size 15 feet, and that generally doesn't work. There are cars that I've gotten into test drive before where it's just like, yeah, okay, I can only drive this car barefoot. This is the thing. But the thought has entered my mind, like, should that be something I'm working on? And then I just look at it and I'm like, well, if I'm going to do that, if I'm going to spend the money on that, then airplanes. It's way higher up the priority list. I think I'm never going to be a pro race car driver. Why would I need to pretend? Why would I even want to pretend? You know? And I'm at that stage in life where, whoa, we're dead. We're all dead. I'm at that stage in life where we're all dead. I am 6'5"-ish. You know, you kind of get to that point where you just don't even... People just ask you, how tall are you? And then you just say enough. Good old Automobile to do AI. You know, I was saying nice things about it earlier on in this race, and then it just randomly decides to stop right in the middle of the bus stop. Like, ah. This car's so fun. Although then again, it is funny because, kind of on that same note, talk about fitting in cars. I drive a Acura RSX, which is, you know, not a big car by any means, but I fit in it comfortably. A few years ago, I went out to test drive a C5 Z06 Corvette, and really didn't fit at all. Wasn't going to be practical in the grand scheme of things, because if you're going to buy a car like that, you're going to want to do track days, which means you're going to need to fit in with a helmet, and there was no way that that was going to happen. Even though everyone's like, oh, well, my buddy. It's like, maybe your buddy's just different dimensions. But then also a Honda Accord. I can tell you, I don't fit in a 90s Honda Accord. Like, there's just no space in there. As well as a lot of crossovers, I also fit terribly in. People give me crap at work for driving a small car because I'm a large man. And it's like, you know, that whole thing just like shouldn't fit. But the company has got Ford Edges, you know, random generic crossover thing. Get into those things and it's like, oh hey, hi dashboard, nice to meet you again, I miss you. Let's spend some time getting close together. Ergonomics, man. All I'm going to say is you people who are 5'10" don't realize how good you got it. Otherwise known as how I wish I could have a Honda S2000. Should probably turn the lights on. So I'm not going to lie, if I could have a Honda S2000 and actually like be comfortable with it, definitely. Be VTEC and all of the things. Why is there a car pointed the wrong way? Guys? Guys? How do you get the pedals to show up? You have to go... It's hard for me to explain because I put random buttons on my steering wheel and I just know what they do. I don't remember what the binding is called. But it's something with the telemetry pages. That's where the on-screen inputs are. It's kind of hidden in there and it's really finicky. Just bind all of the buttons that have to do with the telemetry pages and just start hitting buttons and eventually you'll figure out which way you get there. I just wish they'd make it like part of the default overlay so that way it's not overlapping with the other pages. See the Cody Ware and Fittipaldi photo. Yeah, that was great. My question is, how tall is he? As well as how short is Fittipaldi? Like, is this just a case of Fittipaldi being like 4 foot nothing and Cody Ware's average height, or what? Cody is like 6'5". So I guess that answers that. What is your streaming schedule? Really don't have one right now. Just kind of started doing this and getting into doing this more often. I will say Monday nights, and I say nights as in US time, Central Time specifically, I'll be doing the iRacing Indy Fix series, as well as Saturdays in the afternoon. There is the Weekend Warriors Formula V series starting up, which I will be doing that, and I will be streaming that as well. So planning on Mondays and Saturdays, and depending on how it goes, maybe we'll make Wednesday nights random racing sim stream, kind of like what this is tonight, where it's not iRacing, probably not even online, unless we do like some lobby races or something. Just doing something random, getting some variety in there, showing off some other stuff other than iRacing, and breaking that up. This thing just slices. This car really is a blast to drive. I wish the iRacing version of this car was half as fun to drive. That big slipstream coming up here. It's like you could just get in there on the edge, squirming, slipping and sliding. Pretty sure there's a car inside. Yep, there's a car inside. As for my home, because he loves the track so much. No, I don't think it works that way, but yes, I am from Iowa. And I do love the track that much. Although, to be entirely honest, even if they built Iowa Speedway anywhere else, that would easily be my favorite of the oval tracks out there, just because it is the track that I want as an oval. Like, Richmond is always one of my favorite tracks in racing games, and then they built a version of Richmond that was just, like, supercharged. Just went too wide through the bus stop with the AI, like just things, I guess. Sometimes they work, sometimes they just randomly park in the middle of the bus stop. I don't know. It's very strange, very weird. It's kind of cool. The AI just blitzes turn one, just like, oh hey, you got cheater grip. Where you at? I think there's one more still over there. Alright, where's the leader at? That's what I want to know. We gotta win this race, otherwise we're gonna lose the shop. Can't have that. I don't even know what that means. I just know I don't want to lose the shop. I mean, they're up there. Got 9.5 minutes left, guys. Best laps in here, apparently. Let's get our go flow on here. Gotta save the shop. Yeah, man, that's what I've been saying the whole time. We gotta save the shop. Could someone please tell me what shop we're saving? But apparently that was not a fast lap because I forgot to shift. Later in turn one. Probably, Matt, you were driving for Brumos and got the BOP break. No, we just had the AM qualify. You know, we figured his 24-hour race will let him do something important. You know, take the pressure off and get his drive time out of the way, stick him in at the start of the race. That way, when he hits stuff, he hits like 6 other cars at the same time, you know. That way we can put the pros in at the end, and then we can catch up. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I generally do not gravitate towards what's become a modern GT cars, just because they've all kind of been processed out. But this might be one of my favorite cars in AMS2 here. I find it funny that the AMS2 class feels more like the prototype should drive than the DPi, in my opinion. To be fair, that car had like 0 death time, as far as I know. I honestly, I'm guessing you're probably talking about the Janetta. I honestly basically never touch the P1, P2, P3, P4, P5 cars in this game. I feel like we're losing straight line speed, or is that just me? Oh, 3 wide up there. We got 5 minutes. It's a pretty big gap, guys. I don't think we're gonna be able to get there. We might be able to get past this triple pack of Corvettes here. Coming through. Gotta go fast. Big slipstream here. Just take this bottom line that no one seems to care about down here. Just don't mind me. Just casually passing all you dudes. Just casually passing all you dudes. Yeah, don't kill me. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Thank you. All right. 4 minutes. Still a pretty big gap. They're up there. They're battling. Can we save the shop? That's the question. And they're a little harder that time, that's for dang sure. Say I am so immersed right now. Like I am just slathered in immersion, and it's not because I just peed my pants. I assure you, I have not peed my pants. But, that gap's closing in. Closing in. take the bus stop and not screw it up every other lap, that'd be great. Oh, the fog's back. The fog back. Super serious AI racing going on here, guys. I just love that I can get the rear end to start coming around on the brakes. I can just back out of the brake pressure a little bit. And it's just so drama free. It's not like, oh no, I'm gonna die. It's just like, let's fix this. And I'm guessing the Porsche must be OP because this is a pack of 4 Porsches up here. Please tell me we get one more lap. Do it for the shop, man. Gotta pull up this screen, that way it'll tell me if there's a cool down lap. Alright, we got one more lap at least. Oh no! Square it up, square it up. It's got out there and it gets flat out there. Coming through! Alright, here's the question though. Where do we want to be? Got it! I mean, you might be able to dispute that we may have gone off track there a little bit, but clearly we were in the process of recovering the car. And now we got this guy, Mr. Be Bold. Yeah! We have saved the shop! Yes! Woo! What was the 1.5 seconds? There's no way that was 1.5 seconds. That was no way. There was no way that was 1.5 seconds. The guy was right next door to us. Unless he was actually a lap down, in which case that was overly dramatic for no reason at all. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm basically a Porsche factory driver. I mean, clearly. I was in front of the factory Porsche guy, and he was bum drafting me to victory. Yeah. We'll go back and look at it, and Yeah, that was definitely closer than 1.5 seconds. 0.027. So 27 thousandths of a second. You remember a few years ago when Corvette were running 1-2, you know, and battling it out at the end of the Rolex 24, and everyone's like, "Oh, this is so great! You know, they're letting their guys race." Well, here Porsche just showed up, and they're just like, "Hi guys, do you mind if we race? Yeah," and just stomped everybody, and then like raced above and beyond. Let's see if we can. I just wanna. Okay, apparently you get 2 clicks because we're gonna go into photo mode on this one. We're taking a picture of that, man. Oh man. Oh. No, not satisfied. Apparently I'm just. There we go. We got it. Let's get in here. Gotta take a picture for posterity's sake. I believe that's what they say. I mean, look at that. That's a crushing victory. Look at her car, man. Showing all that dirt. It's been through the wars. It's been through the wars here today. You know, if I got any Automobilista 2 Porsche factory brain not working, photo mode experts, please can I get some help here? Because I can never figure out how I can get the motion blur to work out right unless I use the trackside camera, but I can't figure out how to move the trackside camera, which makes the trackside camera pointless. But otherwise, it makes the side-by-side picture thingy pointless. Or it makes the drone camera pointless because then you don't get the motion blur from the shutter speed because you always have to use the fastest shutter speed you possibly can to get rid of the motion blur because otherwise you just end up with a terrible, grainy, blurry mess. And it just kind of, it irks me. Just irks me a little bit. I mean, that's some good quality stuff right there. I mean, it may have been of dubious legality, but IMSA is NASCAR, and therefore we're doing boys have at it, and the boys had at it. And you can't deny that that wasn't... I mean, the crowd would be going absolutely nuts. Except for the one guy who just has absolutely no fun in life, and he's like, "Oh, he went off track to pass him. That's illegal. That's not fair. He's cheating." Well, you know, like, you gotta give him a penalty. And it's like, such a fun hater. Why are you such a fun hater? Why do you not like fun? All right, we'll just call it there. There we go. Good enough for me. All right, let's go back here. Watch that last lap from the trackside camera here. Or just hit the wrong button. You know, it's moments like this where I'm just reminded that one of the reasons I stick with iRacing is just because the user interface just makes that much more sense to me, and it's more straightforward. Like, I go in there and just figure out all the camera settings and positioning and all that stuff. Just Control F12. Every other sim is just like, how do we get into the camera again? I mean, we even had the lights on for extra factoriness. Okay, so it was a little bit more in the grass than I thought it was. That was definitely like okay. You kind of legitimately did just shortcut the course right there. There you go. Can we just use this camera angle? Automobilista, don't you dare change the camera angle on me right now because this is the money shot right here. All right. Get that nice long angle shot. Warp speed! Carries so much speed through the second half there. Just blew right by. I mean, it's racing, man. It's all is fair in love and war, right? And if you're having a four or five car battle for the win at the end of the 30 minutes of 24 hours of Daytona, like you got to go for it, man. You got to go for it. And I will say, in fairness, I do strongly believe that I would have made the corner. You know what? Could you not just give me the camera angle that I was in, just right with the lined up, just like, oh hey, I want to take a picture of this. Like this would make for a nice picture, you know, with the curving and everything, and the car in front of me, you know, like I just want to go one frame further, game. That's all I want. That's all I want. Okay, now we'll hide the interface. We'll just go ahead and press that F12, take a Steam screenshot. All right, there we go. There we go. I think we're good now. The legality should be if he didn't die, it's legal. I do really think I would have made the second portion of the bus stop and not gone through the grass if it wasn't for this guy in front of me that was going just 10 miles an hour slower in the middle of the corner just because AI versus human. Man, that was spicy. That was. Oh wait, we gotta skip the cooldown lap. That way we can view the replay, and I think you can save. Yeah, we're gonna save that replay, boys. Proof you don't need more than 6 cylinders to sound great, which still makes the failure of F1 V6 even greater. The comment was a while ago. But yeah, I mean, honestly, a Porsche flat 6, water-cooled, air-cooled, it doesn't really matter. Just the best sounding 6-cylinder engine. And like on my list, it goes like, I love me a American V8. And then a flat 6 is like right there, number 2, because they just have that howl to them. And it's like, I know people are like, oh, V12s, you know, and V10s, and it's like, I just like the sound. But we saved the shop, and that's all that matters. So anyways, I think that's probably going to do it for this stream here tonight. Because my dog is looking at me all like, hey human, when are we going to go for our walk? I need to go for our walk. And now I've said the W word, so her ears are all perking up. But let's look at the Automobilista 2 Racing USA DLC. I think we touched on pretty much anything and everything. Overall, you know, very positive on the DLC. Really pretty pleased with basically every car in here. The Porsche 911 RSR GTE in particular is just such a fun car to drive. And I don't necessarily say that about modern GT cars anymore because they all just kind of do their own thing. But that thing gets pointed into the corners so nicely. And coming off of the corners, it doesn't feel like an absolute mess because you got it pointed into the corner. And It's just nice. You can wheel it. But Daytona, really good track. Definitely one of those tracks that is becoming more and more common in sim racing, and is just kind of like a, well, you kind of need to have it at this point, and it makes good sense because it's a great track. You know, it's a nice, simple, straightforward, straight ahead type of track. But no comments there. Laguna Seca, you can't go wrong. You know, again, that's another track that every game has to have, that now this game has, as well as Long Beach, which is just one of the greatest street circuits around and is a heap of fun. Doesn't matter what you're driving. But yeah, the Racing USA DLC really does add in a lot more to this game in terms of filling out that track list and the car list. That kind of makes it a little bit more whole and all that. But as for where Automobilista 2 is at its stage, you know, honestly, I'd say jump in and give it a go. Really not a game you should be avoiding, in my opinion. You know, it's definitely well past the stage that it might have been early on where people were just like, oh no, it's terrible. But so that's that. In terms of the stream, thank you guys for all coming out. Pleasure to save the shop. Still don't know what that means, but I'm glad that we did it, just because that's hugely important. You know, to me personally, to save the shop, right up there with that front nose. But yeah, I think that's gonna pretty much do it. Again, we'll be coming out doing a stream Saturday this weekend, afternoon time here, U.S. evening time for you guys over in Europe, if there's anyone from Europe in here. We'll be doing Formula V's at Laguna Seca on the Weekend Warriors League, which is going to be a big grid 40-minute Formula V race. It's going to be insane, and I am incredibly hyped for it, so hopefully you guys will be as well. So anyways, thank you guys for coming out. Hope you guys enjoyed. All right, bye.